We are also told by the Intelligence Committee tonight that as of this evening, they are in negotiations with the Justice Department over yet another subpoena that they issued last week for the redacted material that's been cut out of the Mueller report and for the counterintelligence information and findings and evidence that were turned up by Mueller's investigation, but not included in the version of Mueller's report that we've all seen. Now, the deadline for the Justice Department to comply with that subpoena for the unredacted report and the underlying evidence and all the intelligence information turned up by the investigation, that deadline on that subpoena is tomorrow. We don't know exactly what it means that the committee is in negotiations with the Justice Department tonight over the terms of that subpoena and that tomorrow deadline. The last time we were in this circumstance, though, it was a subpoena from the Judiciary Committee, which was being ignored by the Attorney General. And in that case, the response was that the Attorney General was swiftly subject to a contempt vote. So we'll see how this develops. This may very well go that same direction. It's worth watching this overnight and into tomorrow morning, though, because a subpoena deadline is a real deadline. And that deadline is tomorrow. And the conflict over this one, I mean, this particular subpoena that the Attorney General seems poised to defy, this one, because it's from the Intelligence Committee and because it's for that specific information they're asking for, this one may finally shed some light on what's emerging since Mueller's investigation was ended as kind of the biggest open question that remains about what happened with that investigation. Right? The Intelligence Committee has issued a subpoena to obtain the counterintelligence information and the foreign intelligence information that Mueller turned up. They shouldn't have to issue a subpoena to get that. Under black letter law, under federal statute, the intelligence committees are supposed to be able to get that whenever they want it. They're supposed to get briefed whenever they want to on matters at the Justice Department or in any other investigating agency that pertain to counterintelligence or foreign intelligence. That's their purview. They have oversight over all of that. So they get access to anything that touches that area. Nothing is classified from them. Well, the Intelligence Committee Chairman, Adam Schiff, has been saying that his committee hasn't been receiving those briefings. They haven't received any information on any foreign intelligence or counterintelligence related to Mueller's investigation since James Comey was fired back in 2017. They've got nothing. Well, that revelation from Adam Schiff and the fact that we can now see the redacted Mueller report, and the redacted Mueller report has no information at all on the counterintelligence consequences of any factual information they turned up. Those two things together have led to this sort of slowly dawning revelation that Mueller might have not done a counterintelligence investigation at all. That if there was a counterintelligence investigation into the Russia attack and potential links to President Trump or the Trump campaign, it looks like maybe Mueller isn't the one who did it. I mean, we know that a counterintelligence investigation was started. We know that one was authorized and opened at the FBI. We know that a counterintelligence investigation was publicly announced by James Comey to Congress when he was still FBI director. I mean, in terms of what that investigation might look at, off the top of your head, you right now could list 10 important questions that a counterintelligence investigation on this matter might possibly be looking into. I mean, just start with Trump Tower alone, Trump Tower Moscow alone. But it really doesn't appear that Robert Mueller and his investigators did that. I mean, as we discussed with former FBI General Counsel James Baker on this show on Friday night, Mueller really appears to have only looked at criminal matters specifically, which means that this whole question of whether Russia was compromising people, whether Russia was trying to get leverage on people, whether there was a foreign influence operation underway that was targeting people who were then or would be involved in the U.S. government for the purposes of advantaging the Russian government over our government. All of those questions, to the extent that counterintelligence investigation was done, it appears that that was handled at the FBI, outside the confines of the special counsel's office, which means it was not under Robert Mueller's purview. It means it was under the purview of the FBI director, Chris Wray. Chris Wray is the one who appears to have been supervising the counterintelligence investigation, not Mueller. Mueller just did criminal. And as that revelation, I think, is slowly creeping across Washington and the news media and all of us, all of a sudden, we now find ourselves in day 3 of the president publicly attacking FBI Director Chris Wray, including saying now that under Chris Wray, quote, the FBI has no leadership. The director is protecting the same gang. So We'll have more on that in a second in terms of what happened to the intelligence part of this inquiry and what it means to have the president and now the attorney general appearing to turn the investigators into targets to go after the people who have been investigating this matter, particularly if the counterintelligence investigation is still live, as we are increasingly seeing the president turn against the FBI director, who we believe has been overseeing the counterintelligence part of this. We even saw a right-wing group connected to the president go after a specific named prosecutor on Mueller's team tonight. So we'll have more on that coming up. But there was one other landmark thing that happened in this big confrontation today, which is worth noting as it came up, which is that for the first time today, a court got involved. For the first time today, the judicial branch of government, the third branch of government, got involved in trying to police this question of whether or not the president and this White House can defy all subpoenas, right? Defy court orders, defy subpoenas, defy any incursion on what they want to do in terms of the law. Today, for the first time, a judge got into the middle of that, and it did not go well for the president and his lawyers. It really, really did not go well for them. But we've got that story next. Stay with us.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.